Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Emily Inestroza. How are you guys doing? So today we are going to be talking about how to answer some of the most difficult interview questions. And I'm going to be sharing some tips and some advice on how to answer some sample interview questions. So for those of you guys who are new here, I just graduated from the University of Southern California and I recently started my career in consulting. And I wanted to create this channel to basically share some career and college advice and also share my life as a consultant. So if any of those topics interest you, make sure to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more videos. Alright, so let's jump right into the video with tips on how to handle some difficult interview questions. So my first tip is stay calm and be honest. I know a lot of times when you get a question and you don't know how to answer it, it's very easy to just panic and freak out and get nervous and you basically lose your train of thought. When you do get a difficult question, just make sure to stay calm. Don't panic. Take a few pauses if you need, and even tell your interviewer, may I have a few seconds to think of my answer? And they will definitely say yes. So if you need some time, communicate that with your interviewer and take advantage of those 10 seconds to calm down and collect your thoughts. You also want to make sure that in responding to their question that you are honest, because most often than not, interviewers can tell when you are lying or BSing your answer. So do your best to just be honest and be genuine, and that'll definitely help you get through the question. Just remember that interviewers are asking you these hard questions because they want to know how you're going to respond. So you want to make sure that you can demonstrate that you are able to handle these moments of stress and pressure. Alright, so my second tip in dealing with a difficult question is to simply focus on the question. When you get a question that you don't know how to respond to, it's easy to basically get off track and basically jump around the answer but never get to it. It definitely won't look good on you if you spend a lot of time talking about your response but never clearly communicating what your actual answer was. So just remember to keep your answers short, sweet, and to the point. And if you forget what the question is, it's okay to ask them if they could repeat their question and then make sure that you answer exactly what they are asking. And if at the end of your response you don't know if you answered their question, you can also tell them, like, let me know if I need to elaborate further. So definitely communicate with them and just make sure that you are answering the questions. Alright, and now my last tip for dealing with a difficult question is to express your willingness to learn. And basically what I mean by this is that if they are asking a question that you don't know exactly the answer, then explain to them maybe the steps that you would take to get to the answer, or tell them that you're not sure of the information but that you are excited and looking forward to learning more about that topic. Even though you may not know the answer to the question, do your best to stay confident and positive and focus on the positive aspect of your response. Like briefly mention that you don't know the answer, but then focus a lot on what you're going to do to learn or what you're going to do to get to the answer. You never want to say, I don't know the answer to the question. You always want to explain and elaborate how you'd get to the answer or what information you do know. I also want to note that if you get a trivia question such as how many golf balls fit in a Boeing 747, for those kind of questions, never respond, I don't know. Like even if you don't know the answer, in those type of questions and situations, you need to make sure that you grab a pen and a piece of paper and go through a process as to how you would get the answer. Okay, so now I'm going to jump into 4 difficult interview questions and I'm going to be providing some advice on how to answer those questions. So the first difficult interview question is, what is your biggest weakness? In an interview, this question is commonly asked, and my advice is to frame your weakness in a positive light and focus on the fact that you have self-awareness and that you are taking action and steps on how to improve on that weakness. You definitely want to be honest with yourself about the qualities that you lack, and you want to make sure that you are genuine in your response and don't give just a generic answer, such as I'm a perfectionist or I sometimes work too hard. Interviewers don't want to hear that, so make sure to not use any of those answers. But on the other hand, you also want to make sure that you don't pick a weakness that's going to turn out to be a deal breaker. For example, you don't want to say, I lack time management skills, or I don't always enjoy working in teams. Not enjoying working in teams or not having good time management skills are crucial for any job role, so you definitely don't want to say that. So make sure to just pick a weakness that is true to you and that you know is something that you can improve on and that could be shown in a very positive light. So in your response, briefly mention your weakness and then really focus your answer on what you're going to do to improve on that and then what opportunities you are finding for self-growth. Alright, and now the second difficult interview question is, what is your greatest failure? So when answering this question, I first like to always briefly mention my viewpoint on failure. For me, I usually don't view failure as like failure. Instead, I like to share how I view failure as a lesson and an opportunity for growth. But in thinking about your response, you want to pick out a specific situation of when you experience failure. Ideally, you want to pick a story of a time where there was one thing that went wrong, so you can really focus your response on talking about what you learned and what you're going to do better next time. I know it's sometimes hard to come up with a situation of a time that you failed, but keep in mind that your failure can also be at an individual or team level. So just try to think about a time when there was something that just didn't go right as planned. So once you pick a situation, then go on and explain to the interviewer what happened. Be open and honest about how things didn't go as planned, but try to keep the part about the failure short and then really focus your response on how you managed the failure and what you did to rectify the situation. Be sure to talk about specifically what you think went wrong or what caused the failure, and then elaborate on the changes that you have made since then, or what you've done or what you're gonna do differently moving forward. I think being able to show that you've grown, that you've learned your lesson, and that you've gained something from it is most important in answering this question. Okay, and now the third difficult interview question is, why do you want to work here? This is a question that definitely gets asked, so make sure that you prepare well for it. So in gathering your response to this question, you want to make sure that you do plenty of research on the company, and then that you can come up with a specific answer as to why you want to work for that company. Do your research by reading through the company's website, looking closely at the job description, looking through their social media accounts, reading the news about them, and then maybe reading some reports that were written by them. And then my favorite way to do research on a company is by simply networking with the people who work there. Because by talking to the people who are working in those jobs, they can give you the best response about what it's like working and being in that company. And then they could also share their answers as to why they chose to work in that role at that company. So after doing all your research on the company, then you want to pick 2 to 3 reasons that you can discuss in your interview. Like I mentioned earlier, you want to make sure that your answers are specific to that company and that your reasons are things that you can't get anywhere else. I also want to note that everyone's answer to this question can vary drastically. Maybe you want to work at that company because of the industry that they specialize in, or the product or services that they offer, or maybe it's because of the people and the culture and values that the company lives for. But whatever you choose, just make sure that your answer is genuine, because you want to make sure that you communicate that you genuinely want to work for that company for these reasons. And now the fourth and last difficult interview question is, why should we hire you? I think this is a pretty difficult question because you really have to focus on selling yourself. So in responding to this question, you want to come up with 2 to 3 reasons as to why the company should hire you. And while it can feel a little bit weird to sell and talk about yourself, keep in mind that this is a great opportunity to really dive into some of your most impressive strengths, skills, and passions, and how they align to that job role that you're applying to, as well as how they fit in with the company's goals and values. So take the time to think and reflect about what sets you apart from the competition, why your background and experience would be a good fit for the job. Think about the areas that you tend to stand out in, what are some of your most impressive accomplishments, and overall, just what makes you unique and different from the typical candidate. Ask yourself all of these questions and then narrow down just 2 to 3 key reasons as to why you would be the best candidate for the company to hire. Your response can be a combination of different strengths. You can talk about your industry or work experience, your technical skills, soft skills, awards, projects, as well as your education and training. Like I said earlier, you're basically giving a sales pitch, so make sure to be genuine, enthusiastic, and be confident in yourself and what you have to offer to that company. Alright, so that is all that I have for today's video. I hope that you guys found this video helpful in your interview preparation. If you enjoyed it and thought it was useful, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Be sure to comment down below some of your difficult interview questions. I'll be sure to answer each and every one of them, and then maybe I'll also compile them to make another video of how to answer some more difficult interview questions. So make sure to comment down below. And if you want to watch more videos that revolve around my post-grad life and any college and career advice, then make sure to hit that subscribe button and also hit that bell button so you can receive notifications next time I post a new video. I'll see you guys in my next video. Thank you guys for watching.